Dez Bryant.
Demaryius Thomas.
Dez Bryant has tweeted us?
Dez Bryant.
What did he tweet us?
Dez Bryant threw out this tweet yesterday.
Oh, it wasn't to us.
It says, as much as I love football, on my beautiful babies, I apologize, Cowboy Nation, but I will not be there if no deal. The deadline to sign the deal for both Dez Bryant and Demaryius Thomas and anybody else who's franchise tagged is tomorrow afternoon. If they don't sign the franchise tag tender by tomorrow, or excuse me, if they don't sign a long-term deal by tomorrow, then they are franchise tagged for the next year, and they are not allowed to negotiate a deal during the course of the season. They have to wait until the next offseason again. Do you believe either Dez Bryant or Demaryius Thomas will end up signing a long-term deal by tomorrow?
Yes. Dez Bryant could do all the talking, which he does all the time. Is he really going to want to miss $800,000 a game? No. He's not going to sit out for a year. You think you're going to make more money next year? No, you're not.
Well, and here's the other side of that, Woody. The Dallas Cowboys desperately need him to be in the lineup, especially after losing DeMarco Murray. They got nothing at running back right now. I know they have a good offensive line, but there's no marquee guy at running back. Now they're going to lose a second star on offense, Dez Bryant. I think Jerry Jones is going to get this done with Dez Bryant, as do you.
All right, so let's. I think it's all going to get done on the Cowboy side. I don't think the Broncos really care whether it gets done.
Yeah, I'm with you there too.
See,
in fact, I don't think it's going to get done.
I don't either. You know what they can do? And I've said this over and over. They can franchise him 3 years in a row if they want to. Did you know that?
I knew 2 years.
3. They can give him $14 million, then they can give him $16 million, then they can give him $20 million.
I thought you could only franchise a guy 2 years.
3 years. You can franchise him 3 years. They could franchise him for 3 years.
I can't imagine him being happy about that. Although when you think about it, that would be a 3-year deal for $38 and $54 million. The problem is none of it's guaranteed.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
So, all right, I'm going to turn around and ask you. I don't think it's going to get done with the Broncos. I think Jerry Jones is going to get on the phone. Remember me, I'm the guy who told you Troy Tulowitzki and Clayton Kershaw would be in the All-Star game. So I'm sitting here telling you that the Cowboys, I think Jerry Jones get on the phone. I think you've got a hard-headed guy in John Elway. And you can term it whatever you want to.
I think he's very disciplined.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I call it hard-headed. He's hard-headed. Okay, I'm not going to pay you that kind of money. The most I ever made in my life was $5 million. I was one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. I'm going to pay you $16 million when I got Emmanuel Sanders and I got my young draft choice, Latimer. I got other guys. I got Norwood sitting over there that would have made this team last year. No. Okay. Take it. Take your $13 million and be so upset because – and I say this to you, you're always worried about how he's fragile. He ought to be happy as hell. His mother's out of prison. He should be happy. He should take the contract and say, I'm the happiest guy in the world. My mom's out of prison. I think his grandmother's already gotten out there. Both his mother and his grandmother were in prison for drugs related incidents. Be happy. Demaryius, we love you. Everybody loves you. Go out and have another big year and you can get an even bigger contract. But here, what do you think they're worth? What is the guarantee? Forget the $100 million. I would say to Demaryius, we're going to make you the highest paid wide receiver of all time. We're going to pay you $95 million or $100 million. And here's what's guaranteed, 40. So what? And then prove it after, prove it. We'll get rid of you after 3 years. What in your mind, because I got a number, what in your mind is the number that both Dez Bryant and Demaryius Thomas, forget the long term, what's the guarantee? That's all that matters.
The guarantee that I think he'd settle for?
Yeah.
I would say somewhere between 33 and 35 million.
You think he would?
Yeah.
Don't you think, do you think the Broncos should guarantee 33 to 35 million?
I'm not so sure about that.
I'd guarantee 40 million. I would say to Demaryius Thomas, we're going to pay you more than what Calvin Johnson's getting. $18 million a year. I figured it up. So 15 would be 60, right, for 4 years?
Yes.
$75 million, 5 years, $75 million. We're going to guarantee $40 million of that, almost half of it. Oh, how about this? 5 years, $80 million. We're going to guarantee half of it, $40 million. If he didn't sign that, I'd tell him to go
Oh, I agree with
Go
that.
away. Go
I
away.
agree with that.
And Dez Bryant should. That guy, and I forget his name, that agent of Demaryius Thomas is giving him really bad advice because that agent's not strong enough to make a deal. He's waiting on a deal in Dallas.
Do you think if a deal is not done with Demaryius tomorrow that he holds out training camp? And if so, how do the Broncos react?
Oh, sure. I don't have any doubt he holds out for training camp. You don't lose anything. Is he going to miss a game? Hell no. He can't afford to miss. Okay, I'm going to sit out 3 games. You know how much that is? $2.4 million. The Rolling Stones won't sit out a concert for that kind of money.
And you brought up something. His
Really?
mom is getting out of prison in November. He needs to support a few people now. He's going to need to support his mom in all probability. How can you pass up that kind of money? I just don't understand how.
Well, because he's got an agent saying you're the greatest player that ever lived. No, Calvin Johnson's better than both of you guys combined. Calvin Johnson is a what's he called, monster or whatever? Megatron. Yeah, it's better. Demaryius Thomas, what's he called? DT. That sounds like somebody that's going to Harmony Foundation.
That NFL update sponsored by Fantasy Sports Combine. The Fantasy Sports Combine.
I'm not saying he's going. I'm just saying DT
is the ultimate experience for fantasy football players. It's coming up this weekend. It's at the Wynn in Las Vegas, July 17th and the 19th, Friday through Sunday. We're going to be there,
Sure.
and you're going to be able to get fantasy advice from people like Adam Schefter and Matthew Berry, a number of other fantasy gurus. Mike Shanahan's going to be there, Terrell Davis, Brandon Stokely. You're going to get an edge for when you draft your fantasy football team. Still a couple tickets available. Get them today at fantasysportscombine.com.